Yo, the streets and the city are buzzing. And this time, it's NYC hip-hop at its rawest. Fabolous finally broke his silence, and everyone's asking why. After months of tension with Jadakiss and Styles P, the rumors, the disses, and the subtle shade had built a storm that fans couldn't ignore. And now, the silence is over. This isn't just about bars or verses. It's about legacy, respect, and the power dynamics of New York's rap scene. Fabolous knows exactly what's at stake. Reputation, influence, and the eyes of every fan in the 5 boroughs. Responding wasn't optional, it was necessary. Because in the game of NYC rap, staying quiet for too long can be interpreted as weakness. And that's a luxury no one can afford. Fans are already divided. Some say he handled it perfectly, measured, strategic, showing that he's still a force to be reckoned with. Others are dissecting every word, every flow, every line for subtle shots and hidden meanings. And that's the beauty of this moment. It's not just music. It's chess. Every bar, every response, every subtle nod or diss carries weight far beyond the track itself. This story isn't just about beef, it's about influence, respect, and survival in the city that built hip-hop. And by the end of this video, you're going to see why Fabolous' response could change how fans and rappers alike view this feud. And why NYC itself is watching every move, every lyric, every pause. Buckle up. This isn't just a reply. This is a statement. The city streets were buzzing, the internet was alive, and every hip-hop fan from Brooklyn to the Bronx had one question. Why did Fabolous finally respond? The tension between him, Jadakiss, and Styles P had been simmering for months. Subtle disses, implied shots on tracks, interviews dripping with shade, the kind of tension that NYC hip-hop thrives on. And now, after weeks of speculation, Fabolous decided it was time to speak. This isn't just a casual response. Fabolous understands this better than most. This isn't about ego, it's about legacy and influence. He's built his career on not just having bars, but knowing exactly when to strike, when to respond, and when to let the streets interpret silence. Silence can be a weapon, but timing is everything. Fans quickly started dissecting his move. Some praised him for handling it with strategic precision. No over-the-top antics, no desperate attempts to dominate, just measured responses that carried authority. Others felt the tension was palpable, as if every line contained hidden meaning aimed directly at Jadakiss and Styles P, and that's exactly the kind of reaction. Fabolous thrives on the kind that keeps fans talking, debating and replaying every lyric to catch the subtle shades. Understanding the context is crucial. Jadakiss and Styles P are legends not just in New York, but across the hip-hop world. Their credibility is untouchable, their influence undeniable. For Fabolous, responding wasn't simply about defending himself, it was about holding his ground in the hierarchy of NYC rap. He needed to remind the city that he belongs in every conversation, every debate, and every comparison. The stakes were high because of the legacy involved. Fans weren't just watching a beef. They were witnessing the clash of eras and respect in NYC rap. Fabolous represents a generation that bridges the gap between street rap and commercial success, between lyrical skill and mainstream influence. Jadakiss and Styles P represent the era of raw lyricism, the foundation upon which modern New York hip-hop was built. When these worlds collide, tension isn't optional, it's inevitable. Social media amplified the drama. Clips of interviews, snippets of tracks, and fan reactions exploded across platforms. Memes, debates, and fan theories ran wild. Every reaction fueled the story further. But the real drama wasn't online. It was in the streets, in the studios, and in the conversations of artists themselves. In NYC, respect is earned, observed, and defended constantly. And Fabolous' decision to respond made clear he wasn't willing to let the narrative spin without his voice. Strategically, Fabolous chose his words carefully. Unlike impulsive reactions, every line was crafted to assert authority without overexposing himself. Every lyric was layered a nod to the streets, a message to rivals, and a reassurance to fans that he remains a key player. That's the kind of artistry that makes NYC rap, not just a genre, but a cultural chess game. Fans immediately noticed subtle nuances. Certain phrases were recognized as direct shots, others as reminders of his consistency and longevity. The tension became a puzzle, and the fans were the detectives, analyzing, debating, and replaying. This isn't just entertainment, it's participation. When Fabolous speaks, the streets listen and the city responds. Meanwhile, the broader hip-hop community took notice. Artists from different boroughs, collaborators, and producers were watching closely. A single response from Fabolous could ripple across the entire network, affecting collaborations, alliances, and even future beefs. In NYC, influence is contagious. When someone like Fabolous makes a calculated move, it shifts perceptions and creates waves of respect, caution, or challenge. What makes this moment even more critical is the timing. The silence had built anticipation, For weeks, fans speculated about whether he would respond, how he would respond, and what that would mean for the dynamic between the three legends. When he finally spoke, the city felt it. That's the power of strategic patience. It amplifies impact. Fabolous also considered his audience. His fans aren't just casual listeners, they're invested in every move he makes. They follow him closely, analyze his tracks, and celebrate his lyricism. Responding wasn't just about addressing Jadakiss and Styles P, it was about reassuring his audience that he remains sharp, relevant, and unshakable. Every line he delivered served multiple purposes: confrontation, clarification, and connection. And let's not forget the cultural element. NYC rap isn't just music. It's a reflection of the streets, the neighborhoods, and the battles fought both lyrically and socially. It wasn't manufactured drama. It was authentic tension that resonated with real experiences, real respect, and real consequences. That authenticity is what separates fleeting beefs from legendary ones. The reaction across social media and media outlets confirmed it. Clips went viral, comment sections filled with debates, and fans across generations shared their takes. Some argued that Fabolous handled it masterfully. Others criticized subtle lines they felt were too soft or too aggressive. But every single reaction contributed to the narrative. Amplifying the impact of his response from a strategic standpoint, Fabolous knew that escalation could be dangerous. The goal wasn't to provoke a destructive feud, it was to reassert dominance, command respect, and remind everyone of his position in the hierarchy. This is a calculated approach that has defined his career, and NYC rap fans recognized it immediately. This wasn't impulsive, this was strategy. In conclusion, Fabolous' response to Jadakiss and Styles P wasn't just a reply, it was a statement of authority, timing, and legacy. He reminded the city that influence isn't given, it's maintained. Every lyric, every nuance, and every calculated pause sent a message that reverberated beyond the music, across the streets, and into the minds of fans and fellow artists alike. For anyone following NYC rap, this wasn't just another moment. It was a reminder that Fabolous still commands attention, respect, and influence. And the streets, the fans, and the industry are all watching, analyzing, and reacting because when he speaks, the city listens. The moment Fabolous dropped his response, NYC's hip-hop community erupted. The streets, the studios, and social media were all buzzing, dissecting every word, every tone, every subtle jab. Fans weren't just listening, they were analyzing, debating, and picking apart every lyric. For months, tension had been simmering between Fabolous, Jadakiss, and Styles P, but now it had reached critical mass. Fans immediately took sides. Some praised Fabolous for the precision in his response, noting how he balanced lyrical skill with street-smart strategy. They recognized that he wasn't overreacting or desperate to assert dominance. He was making a calculated statement that reinforced his credibility. These fans highlighted subtle lines, delivery nuances, and even pauses as evidence of his mastery in handling hypershare situations. Other fans, however, weren't fully convinced. They argued that his response, while sharp, didn't fully address Jadakiss and Styles P. Some even speculated that the silence from his rivals was intentional, adding fuel to the fire, letting Fabolous make the first move and revealing his hand in public. This debate divided NYC fans like never before, with every reaction and theory spreading across comment sections, forums, and Instagram feeds. The tension wasn't limited to fans. Artists, producers, and insiders were closely monitoring every move. NYC's hip-hop scene thrives on respect, hierarchy, and influence, and Fabolous' response sent waves through every corner of the city. People started questioning alliances, collaborations, and even subtle nods in future tracks. When someone of Fabolous' stature makes a strategic move, the entire ecosystem reacts. Meanwhile, the media amplified the story. Interviews, articles, and podcasts picked up the response, dissecting every layer of meaning. The coverage wasn't just about the beef. It was about legacy, influence, and power dynamics in NYC hip-hop. Each mention reminded fans and artists alike. This was a lesson in street-level strategy and cultural authority. The social media debate intensified as fans highlighted every potential subliminal. Clips were shared, slowed down, and replayed. This analysis created an interactive experience for fans, keeping the conversation alive and making the story. Fabolous didn't respond immediately. He waited, letting speculation rise, letting the tension build, and making sure that when he did speak, the impact would be undeniable. This wasn't impulsive, it was masterful timing, demonstrating why he remains one of NYC's most respected figures. Inside the community, Other artists began weighing their words carefully. Fabolous' response reminded everyone that influence is earned and maintained, and that even a single statement can shift perceptions, alliances, and reputations. Producers, collaborators, and even other rappers took notice. If someone as seasoned as Fabolous could command this level of attention with one response, it set a benchmark for respect and strategy. Meanwhile, the streets were alive with discussion. Local radio stations, underground forums, and NYC neighborhood hotspots became echo chambers of fan theories and debates. The tension wasn't just virtual, it was felt in every borough, in every block, and in every corner where hip-hop culture thrives. For many fans, this was more than entertainment. It was a live lesson in NYC rap politics, respect, and influence. Adding to the intensity was the cultural weight of Jadakiss and Styles P themselves. These aren't newcomers. Their history, credibility, and street influence mean that any response to them carries far more significance than ordinary rap beef. Fabolous understood this. His response wasn't just about addressing disses. It was about asserting his place alongside true NYC icons. The online reaction also revealed generational divides. Younger fans were fascinated by the lyrical nuances, subtle shades, and strategic moves, while longtime listeners appreciated the cultural and historical context of the beef. This multi-layered engagement made the story even more compelling, ensuring that every demographic was invested in the unfolding drama. Subtle details in Fabolous' response played a huge role. His delivery, pauses, and references weren't random. Each element was carefully crafted to send a layered message. Some lines seemed like direct shots, others like affirmations of his legacy, and still others as subtle reminders to the city that he remains a dominant force. Fans picked apart these details, sharing clips and timestamps, turning the response into a citywide discussion. Meanwhile, speculation about the next moves of Jadakiss and Styles P kept the tension alive. Would they respond directly? Would they let Fabolous' response stand? Would new collaborations or subtle jabs appear in future tracks? Every fan had an opinion, every studio insider had a theory, and every street corner in NYC had a discussion. The broader lesson from this moment is clear. In NYC hip-hop, timing, delivery, and strategy are just as important as lyrical skill. Fabolous' response demonstrated how to handle pressure, respect, legacy, and maintain influence without overstepping or underperforming. Fans and industry figures alike recognized this as a masterclass in hip-hop strategy and street diplomacy. By the end of the week, the city was still talking. Clips circulated, debates raged, and reactions continued to pour in. Some fans praised Fabolous' patience and precision, while others dissected subtle weaknesses. Regardless, the response had cemented a major moment in NYC rap culture, reminding everyone why Fabolous continues to command respect decades into his career. The story wasn't just about answering a diss, it was about legacy, street credibility, and strategic dominance. Every lyric, every pause, and every subtle jab mattered. Fans were learning the power of timing, influence, and the careful navigation of respect in NYC's rap hierarchy. As the debate continued, one truth was undeniable. Fabolous had taken control of the narrative. Whether fans agreed with him or critiqued his approach, no one could ignore the impact of his response. And that is what makes NYC rap culture alive. The constant interplay of influence, respect, and calculated moves. By the time Fabolous' response settled in the public eye, the streets of New York City were buzzing louder than ever. Every borough, every corner store, every local radio station felt the ripples. Fans dissected every nuance, every pause, every subtle jab. The tension wasn't just between him, Jadakiss, and Styles P anymore. It had become a citywide spectacle, a reflection of NYC hip-hop culture at its rawest. Fans were split, and the debates were endless. Some argued that Fabolous had mastered the art of the strategic response, blending lyrical finesse with calculated authority. Others questioned whether the subtleties in his bars were enough to hold off the legacy and credibility of Jadakiss and Styles P. Social media exploded. In NYC, this wasn't just entertainment, it was a lesson in power, respect, and influence. Meanwhile, the reactions from the streets were palpable. Underground studios and local ciphers echoed with lines dissected from his response. Hip-hop heads debated, did he go too soft? Or did he assert dominance smartly? In these discussions, respect mattered more than drama. Fabolous knew this. The streets reward precision, strategy, and measured power. He didn't need to escalate into chaos. He needed to command authority without losing composure. The broader hip-hop community was watching closely. Artists, producers, and influencers understood that a response of this caliber wasn't just about defending oneself. It redefined influence in NYC rap circles. Every nod, reaction, or subtle post from others in the industry became part of the ongoing conversation. Fabolous had shifted the narrative, and now everyone had to adapt to the new power dynamic. Jadakiss and Styles P remained largely silent publicly at first. That silence alone created more tension. Fans debated whether it was strategic restraint or tactical observation. In NYC rap culture, silence can be as powerful as a diss. It gives time to assess, strategize, and respond with maximum impact. And the city waited, every listener analyzing what the next move would mean for legacy, respect, and street credibility. The NYC hip-hop hierarchy wasn't just a backdrop, it was the battlefield. Fabolous' response reminded everyone that legacy isn't static. It's constantly tested, challenged, and defended. His approach wasn't reckless. It was methodical, precise, and layered. Every line worked on multiple levels, a subtle jab at rivals, a nod to his own career longevity, and a reminder to fans that he remains an unshakable force in NYC rap. Fan reactions continued to escalate the stakes. Online debates became heated. Podcasts dissected his lyrics for hidden meaning, and street corners across the boroughs buzzed with speculation. The engagement wasn't just passive, it was interactive, as if every listener contributed to the unfolding story. Fans felt involved, invested, and empowered by their interpretations of the bars. Meanwhile, industry insiders noticed the strategic brilliance. Fabolous didn't just respond. He controlled the pace, tone, and narrative. In NYC, where influence and reputation are intertwined, that kind of move demonstrates mastery. Artists understood that responding impulsively could backfire. Observing Fabolous' calculated approach was a lesson in street-level diplomacy, power, and legacy management. The cultural significance of the beef couldn't be understated. NYC hip-hop thrives on respect, and every generation is watching how legends maintain it. Fabolous' move bridged different eras of New York rap, showing that he could hold his ground against icons while still commanding respect from younger fans. His response wasn't just a defense, it was a masterclass in timing, delivery, and influence. Subtle references in his lines didn't go unnoticed. Fans noted callbacks to past tracks, lyrical nods to historical moments, and even small gestures that reflected his understanding of the city's complex rap ecosystem. Every bar carried meaning, and every nuance added layers to the narrative. Fabolous was proving that influence isn't just about words, it's about context, timing, and execution. By the time the dust began to settle, NYC's rap landscape had shifted. Fabolous had reclaimed authority, asserting that he remains relevant, respected, and strategically dominant. The reaction from fans, the media, and other artists confirmed it, whether they agreed with his approach or not. No one could deny the impact. The aftermath also highlighted one key truth about NYC hip-hop. Respect is earned and defended constantly. Every statement, every bar, and every public move has consequences. Fabolous' calculated response reinforced this lesson for every artist watching. Power in the city isn't inherited. It's maintained through precision, timing, and street-smart strategy. Precision, timing, and street-smart strategy. In conclusion, Fabolous' response to Jadakiss and Styles P wasn't just about answering disses, it was about legacy, authority, and influence. It reminded NYC fans, artists, and insiders alike that he remains a key figure in the hierarchy of the city's rap culture. The debate, analysis, and discussion it sparked will continue for months, and that's exactly how legends are remembered for fans. This wasn't just a beef, it was a live lesson in respect, strategy, and the art of NYC rap. Fabolous showed that calculated patience, strategic timing, and precision delivery can shift narratives, command respect, and secure legacy. Solidifying his place in the city's hip-hop history and in the streets of New York, one thing is clear: when Fabolous speaks, the city listens, the fans debate, and legends watch. Yo, if you're watching this, you already know this isn't just another hip-hop story. This is NYC rap at its rawest. Fabolous finally broke his silence, and the streets, fans, and the industry are still buzzing. Now, it's your turn to lock in and stay connected. Hit that subscribe button right now. This channel is your front row seat to exclusive rap drama, behind-the-scenes analysis, and street-level power plays before anyone else breaks it. Don't scroll past. Missing this is missing the moves that actually shape NYC hip-hop culture. Smash that like button if you're feeling the intensity. Every like and share tells us you're here for the real, uncut stories that matter. The kind of drama and strategy that influences respect, reputation, and legacy in the game. Drop a comment below and let us know. Do you think Fabolous handled Jadakiss and Styles P perfectly? Or did he leave room for them to strike back? Your thoughts could spark the next conversation and influence how fans and insiders perceive this legendary NYC feud. And don't forget to turn on the notification bell. The next twist in this story could drop any moment, and you want to be the first to know. Remember, in NYC hip-hop, every move counts. And here, you're witnessing it live. Subscribe, like, comment, and stay locked in, because this isn't just music. It's a lesson in respect, strategy, and legacy.